is not what you know, it's what you can prove.
You know how to cut to the core of me, Baxter. You're so wise. You're like a miniature Buddha, covered in hair.
I want to become a guru so girls will like me. Then I will like myself.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
This episode is brought to you by Hack Motion. Hack Motion is a cutting-edge wrist sensor for teaching wrist motion for compressed tour-like shots. I spent some time with these guys down at the show, and I really enjoyed how easy it was to use, and the calibration time was super simple, and especially the biofeedback option that will definitely make for a more effective golf lesson for your students. You can use it with your iPhone, your iPad, and it gives your students the feel to go along with the reel as you teach the proper wrist motion for better club face control, which, as you know, is huge in the teaching game. Used by some of the top coaches in our industry, Hack Motion is a must for serious golf teachers, coaches, or players. Also, when ordering upon checkout, use the promo code GURU, GURU, to receive free shipping, which is a $30 value. For more information and to order, visit their website at hackmotion.com. HACKMOTION.com today. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Golf Guru Show. I am your host, Jason Sutton, aka the Guru. On this episode, I have my good friend Alex Vanderlinden. Alex was my first intern assistant several years ago when I started at Carmel, and I'm so proud of this kid. He is now the director of instruction at the Governor's Club, which is a fantastic private facility in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. We try to get together at least once a year where he'll come up and visit, hang out, talk teaching, and today was that day. So he came up to shadow me for the day. We had dinner and had some good conversations. So I said, why not have him on the show, have a great conversation about where he's been, give some insight to the young coaches out there, because that's a big reason why I started this show, to share the information and also give young coaches that you may have not heard about an opportunity to have a voice and to share their insights, which is so cool. And I'm so proud of this kid. And now he's got a family, he's married, and he's doing so well. So I'm very excited to bring you this awesome conversation with my good friend Alex Vanderlinden. Enjoy. Alex Vanderlinden, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So what are you doing? What are you doing here?
What am I doing here?
Why are you in Charlotte?
Gotta learn from the guru.
So it's great to see you. You came down to do some shadowing. We had dinner and hanging out at the house.
Yes, sir.
Having a beverage. So why not get the wisdom of one of my proteges and my first assistant from Carmel Country Club, Alex Vanderlinden. So I'm excited to have you on the show, man. This is going to be awesome.
Looking forward to it.
So tell the listeners out there, take them back to the beginning of your career. Kind of, where did you start? Tell us a little bit about your childhood. Bring us up to date to what you're doing now at the Governor's Club.
Sure. So I actually first started off playing ice hockey. And
big hockey fan.
Go Ducks. But just realized that I wasn't going to be big enough or strong enough to be able to play.
Where'd you grow up?
Southern California.
Wow. You're a long ways from home then.
Long way. Yeah, who knew they could have ice down there? But realized I wouldn't be able to play hockey, and thankfully I had an uncle that loved the game, and he got me my first set of clubs, and had parents that were willing to ship me off to go see him and play golf in the summer. And I realized I liked playing golf a lot more than hockey, and passion grew from there. Thankfully, had some opportunities to be able to volunteer as a junior, to be able to help coach there at the Nike Golf Academy there at Dominguez Hills. And just had a passion for teaching there at a young age in high school, and realized that I wanted to get in golf and be able to teach. thankfully.
So you knew that at an early age that you thought maybe I'm going to be a coach. You didn't think the playing thing.
Oh yeah, I kind of learned pretty quickly that I didn't have what it takes to play. But yeah, what's funny is I actually, before I wanted to teach, I actually thought I wanted to get into greenskeeping because that's what my uncle did.
Okay,
so he mowed,
following your model.
Yeah, he mowed greens, and I'm like, I could do that. I loved going out there early in the morning, watching the sunrise and fixing ball marks. And my parents like, great, here, take care of our backyard. And I'm like, okay. Mind you, like, is probably only 15 by 50 feet of our backyard and not a whole lot of grass. And I just realized that I did not enjoy it at all. And I was like, I can't do this. I can't take care of a golf course then if I can't take care of this tiny backyard. So thankfully I stumbled across an advertisement for Campbell PGM and did my research and ended up going there.
That's crazy how you ended up all the way across the country.
Yeah.
Bowie's Creek.
In Bowie's Creek. That was a culture shock there.
So tell me that process. Like, how did that, did you go to visit or did you just go sight unseen? How did it work?
No, we visited. So visited Campbell, visited Methodist, went to Coastal Carolina. But, I was looking for a smaller private school, and just kind of fell in love with it. And I don't know, it just kind of it felt right. Yeah, and all the other ones didn't quite feel right, but great programs. But Campbell was a good fit for me.
So where did we go from there? Tell us about your college career, because I mean I know you studied under some really great mentors.
Yeah,
David Orr, Ryan Daly, all these guys that are doing great things now. Talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, first start off with my first internship, where I got to be an assistant pro at the Rail Golf Course in Springfield, Illinois. Same course that my uncle mowed greens at. But
oh, nice.
Yeah, and quickly realized that I did not want to be behind the counter.
At an early age.
Oh, quite early. Yeah, they didn't want me back there either. But so anyway, realized that I wanted to go towards the teaching route. And, thankful that we had such a great instructors like Ryan Daly and David Orr. I actually did my 6-month internship there with David, and took me under his wing and taught me a whole lot.
I bet.
But so anyway, did that. Also did my 7-month internship. Couldn't get enough. And that time as well, I got to learn under Ryan Daly when Operation 36 was in its infancy stage, and also did golfing machine certification and stack and tilt. Got to spend a few days with Mac O'Grady. So I was very fortunate with the people and the connections that I made from Campbell and just the opportunities to learn from the best. And then so anyway, I ended up graduating in 2012, and I was like, what's next? And just by chance, I was like, well, I might as well just get my master's degree.
Right. Might as well just stay in school for a few more years, right?
Why not? Just didn't have any real action steps there yet. So I'm like, this seems to be the right thing to do. And went and got my master's in sport administration at Wingate University in Charlotte. And didn't really have a job lined up at all, and just knew like, hey, I'm going to go to school. And because at that point I thought I wanted to get into college golf. And I thought,
you thought you were going to be a college coach, maybe?
Yeah. I thought that was going to be the route I was going to go. But so anyway, did that, and thankful for a mutual friend, Brian Bailey. He and I did golfing machine together, and he's like, well, you need to meet Jason Sutton over at Carmel. I'm like, sure. So ended up hollering at you, and we ended up setting a date for lunch, and the rest is history from there. But
yeah, that was, I still remember that day. It was interesting because, we get a lot of messages like that occasionally where, hey, you may want to meet this guy. And for some reason, I felt led to like reach out to you. It was just a weird thing, right? So Brian was like, I think I had just gotten Sam Putt Lab. Like it was one of the first or second year at Carmel. You need to talk to this really brilliant kid that spent a lot of time with David Orr, and he knows Sam Putt Lab really well. Yeah. You just need to meet him. So we meet for lunch, and we hit it off right away, and then ended up back at the dojo geeking it up for about 6 hours on,
right.
on Sam Putt Lab, and I was like, I've got to figure out how to hire this kid. So the rest is kind of history, right?
Well, I remember asking, like, is there any positions open or anything like that? You're like, no, I don't have anything really, but I'll keep an eye out for you. I had no idea the fact that you were even like thinking that. And so just a couple weeks later, you're like, what do you think about working for me? I'm like, heck yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, that was so cool. Yeah, I went to my boss and said, look, we've got to create something here, and we managed to work it out. And you've been an integral part of my learning with the research projects we've done a couple of cool research projects on acceleration and a lot of stuff with Sam Putt Lab that we did at Methodist.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that. You remember those days?
Yeah, well, you killed two birds. We killed two birds with one stone because that was my master's thesis too.
Right, there you go.
So thank you. But the whole premise was just to figure out different acceleration profiles and see which, if anyone, performed better than the other. I don't think that first test was all that spectacular. Probably learned quite a few things there, but it was good just to be able to kind of categorize different types of profiles and kind of learn what those tendencies are that people do, whether it's stroke length and backstroke speed and all this other stuff. But yeah, it was a good time. A lot of time on Excel, that's for sure.
Yeah, you filled that gap because I could never have done all the work that you did. It was crazy. And yeah, like I said, like it's almost, I tell everybody now, the more research and the more information we gather, I'm not sure that we learn a lot. We sort of learn what not to do.
Yeah.
Right? That'd be fair. We know that over acceleration in putting is not a great thing.
For sure.
Even though some people do it, maybe get away with it occasionally, but we kind of, I guess, I'm not sure how to explain it, but we got rid of a few myths.
Sure.
Right. Of, hitting through the ball. And
oh gosh.
And this is years ago, right? I mean, we're talking what, 5, 6 years ago. Yeah. So it's been a while, and you can find probably some of this information on my YouTube channel. We did several little tests that was kind of interesting, but so tell us what you're doing now. So I know you worked for me for a couple of years, and then got a great opportunity to do what?
Yeah, so had the opportunity. Well, first of all, got engaged, and my fiance, now wife, was working over at the Research Triangle. So I had to get out towards Raleigh. And thankfully, from a connection at Carmel, Patrick Seether, he was the director of golf there at Governor's Club in Chapel Hill, and he was looking for somebody to teach. And he ended up offering me a job there. Now, it started off as an assistant pro, and then part inside the shop and part, teaching. And so I was looking forward to the opportunity, and then got there about a month later, and Patrick ended up getting a bigger and better opportunity, and
he pieced out.
And I thought all of a sudden, like, oh my goodness, like I'm gonna get booted by this next guy. And but no, everything's worked out really well. Thomas Brinson's now the director of golf there at Governor's Club. Really thankful for him and just his patience with me and just understanding what my goals were, because after that first internship, I knew I did not want to continue to be there. But not the best assistant golf professional. But anyway, I'm really thankful to be able to have the opportunity to continue to grow teaching at Governor's Club, and now director of instruction there for a couple years now. So everything works out. Everything works out in the end. That's no doubt about it.
So what have you learned in that transition? What anything you could share with young coaches out there? Because I've got two that are working for me that are, on that same path.
Sure. Soon
going to be director of instructions at a young age.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to those guys that are maybe they think they're going to teach full time, or they have that passion to teach full time?
Yeah. Well, patience. Seriously, which is such a hard thing for me.
I know we talked about this a lot.
Oh
right?
my gosh. Yeah. You helped coach me through that. Thomas did a good job, but looking back, 2.5, 3 years, it's not that long of a time, but just get so antsy.
Seems like a long time when you're young, though. Sure. But patience is just everything. And
for me, it's also a part of my faith as well. It was just God putting moments, like putting the right people in front of me at the right time. Like, for instance, like my recognition at the club as a teacher happened just by just a conversation I had with a particular member. And then all of a sudden it just catches off as like wildfire. And I had no idea. I was brand new to the club. I didn't really understand the dynamics yet. But just having like the smallest conversation there, and it just takes time for that to continue to build, and just to also build that trust with the membership. But yeah, I don't know, patience it's tough. It's a tough lesson.
Yeah, and I'm sure every situation's different. Every club's got a different dynamic. But I think what I always told you, because I knew you were going to be a coach. I mean, I could just, it's in your DNA. That I told you that, the more you talk about it and the more you include others like your boss with your goals, then other people will start to play a role in that change, right?
Yeah.
And he was, Thomas was really good about listening to your goals and aspirations and then helping you make that happen.
Absolutely. But yeah, it's quite the process. And constantly learning.
And you're still a toddler, man. You're still, like we talked about at dinner tonight, like you're getting ready to, like you guys maybe be building a building. You're starting to grow, and like what those next steps are. So let's backtrack a little bit. I've got some questions I think could be interesting to, again, the young coaches out there, maybe the PGM students. Looking back at your PGM education, if you were, let's say 15 years down the road, you're going to teach a class for a PGM student coming up, what would that class include? For
the kids themselves?
Yeah.
What would that class
what looking back, what do you think were the key elements that you needed to learn to become a complete coach?
Gotcha. Well, my education at Campbell was phenomenal. I think we had, David and Ryan did an excellent job of just teaching us the mechanics. I think also just kind of better understanding of what the business is like. Just what's that interaction like with the membership or with your student. That is such a key aspect. I feel like that would just need to be really emphasized, because it's a relationship business, and just being able to develop those relationships and be able to empathize with people in their struggle. Golf is a tough game, and just being able to help them out through those tough times, and also be able to celebrate with them, just be able to go through that process. I think that would be one of the
building relationships 101.
Yeah.
That's one class.
That's one class.
So what else do we need to know?
What else do you need to know? Well, I think also just knowing how to run a clinic itself, like difference between running a group session versus a private lesson, understanding what the structure of that time frame is like. I think also just like practical application of the mechanics that you learn, and just getting your hands dirty. That's the thing I probably learned the most was, I have all this knowledge, and yet I have no way of communicating it. And sure, it's great when you write down on paper, but it's totally different when you're trying to get Mrs. Havenkamp to make these changes.
That's such a great point.
But once you have at least an idea of what, philosophy for yourself, being able to then be able to communicate that to a member or to a student. That would definitely be another aspect.
So sure. EQ, right? We talked about the emotional intelligence, self-awareness, like you said, empathy for the student.
Yeah.
Reading body language, as we talked a lot about.
Yeah.
It's tough to teach that, right? It's a lot of that comes from teaching a lot, like you said, getting your hands dirty. What else would you think would be important? What about the mechanics? Like, what are some of the, you got to learn from some of the best.
Yeah. I'm really thankful that I had the opportunity to take those opportunities to be able to learn from the best. So any PGM student or anybody wanting to become an instructor, take any opportunity to learn under any instructor. Doesn't matter if they're a top 100 or just your average Joe guy on a range. I think you can learn something from anybody. also, I feel like one of the things I capitalized pretty well on at Campbell was being able to just take an idea and just run with it, like running swing seminar, taking flight scope out and just giving lessons out there, just ways that, again, get experience of presenting or just teaching. I feel like that was really helpful aspect.
For free, right?
For free.
There you go. That's
free.
the key. That's the key element. I stress that on this podcast all the time, as you know. Teach for free until you're good enough for somebody to pay you.
Yeah, that was actually really wild, really getting paid, because, I didn't really get paid for private instruction at Carmel. It was really just the junior stuff.
Right.
And just remember, like, that first time, like, people are paying me for a golf lesson? This is the most ridiculous thing ever.
Right.
Such a cool, interesting business. But I'm really thankful for all the opportunities and just the awesome people that are in this business.
So what else do we need? What about ball flight, or what about body? What are some of the things that we needed to be a coach? So
my philosophy is always based off of foundation is ball flight. Got to understand the relationship of face and path, deep plane, all that fun stuff. Because then you can start working your way backwards from the ball, learning what the club face or what the club path is doing, and working from there, hands, body, all of it's important. I wouldn't say I'm like, it's got to be the hands first or the body first. It's really got to be more catered for the student.
Sure.
And I think actually for me, that was another lesson that I had to learn was like, I like ideal situations or like, theory, like textbook, like this is what it has to be. And like, it's either black or white. It's not like that at all. And that's been the interesting part, just getting those lessons underneath your belt, just being able to know that not everybody's going to be cookie cutter. They're not going to all look the same. They're not all got the same feelings or whatever it is with their golf swing, but just being able to understand like there's a lot of gray areas and understanding what pieces, what the right piece is for that person rather than trying to put them in some model.
All right. So what else do we need? What do you think? What's been the biggest piece of advice that you've gotten over the years that you think has helped you the most?
Well, that's a good one.
You can make it a couple if you want, but just anything that comes to mind. Again, we're sort of gearing this towards the young coaches.
Biggest thing.
You got to think that 3 years ago, you're kind of frustrated. What's going on, right?
Sure.
Where am I going? Do I really have what it takes to be a good teacher?
Yeah, I would just say, man, that's such a good question. So hard just to point it down to one, but I think it was a hard lesson for me. And I learned this from David, but just realizing that I wasn't that important. My ideas, you think you're a hot shot coming out of school. Like you think like, oh, I got all these things underneath my belt. Kind of going into it with humility and just knowing that any opportunity is really a learning experience. It's not going to be, it's not like you can just go in and just run the show.
Right.
As it's not those 22-year-old.
Yeah, it's you got that age thing kind of hurts you, and I was the same way. Like when I was coming up in my late 20s, early 30s, which you guys are so far ahead of me, that you almost feel entitled a little bit after you start having some success, right? Mm-hmm. So being humble is a key.
Those damn millennials.
you guys, you're gonna be running the world here soon. So I love millennials. I think they're great.
I'm 28, by the way, for everyone.
Yeah, I know. You were right there.
But anyway, also just from you, I think I learned a lot just being a coach, like of just being able to, get your hands there, get your hands on the golf swing and being able to move people around and just being there for them just as a coach and just as a person, that was so big for me. like it was really helpful just to kind of see they're more than just a golf swing.
So I did teach you something.
Oh man, it's just I have a 9-month-old. Sleep deprivation is definitely a thing right now.
I understand.
My memory is probably not as good as it should be.
I was gonna ask you, is there any example of like anything that you learned from me that you can remember?
Yeah,
just to make me feel better about myself.
No, there it is. There's way more. Oh man, I'm so thankful.
That's funny. All right, so you mentioned some mentors. Are there any other mentors that had an influence in your life or in your career? And I mean, outside of golf.
Sure.
You want to talk about your personal life a little bit?
Yeah,
as
absolutely.
much as you want.
Yeah, well, like my faith is such a big deal to me.
Yes.
And actually coming to Charlotte, not really knowing what was going to happen. Good Lord, I couldn't have expected anything, but just coming to faith in Christ, coming out here in Charlotte, big difference. And actually, I mean, you're far more than a mentor just in golf, but just in faith in general. It's really helpful to have a good group of people that can help support you in that journey. But people that come to mind are actually my RA freshman year. He was actually going to Wingate as well, working on his pharmacy degree, David Baglio. So he kind of helped me walk through that scenario. Or when I gave my life to Christ, he's the one that invited me to church, and dominoes fell from there.
That's one of the most important people ever, right there.
Yeah, no joke.
I mean, everybody has that story.
No joke. And so
proud of you in that respect.
But yeah, he's just trying to figure out what it's all about. I kind of grew up thinking like I have perfectionist tendencies and just trying to have everything be right, and it's just super frustrating.
Controlling everything.
Yeah,
I'm the same way.
Yeah, super frustrating, especially when you just start thinking like God just wants you to be perfect, and that wasn't the case.
Right.
But he kind of helped me understand like, it's all about what Jesus did on the cross and the grace that comes from it, and that there's nothing I could possibly do to even deserve that, and just living that freedom. That's been the greatest life change I've ever experienced, and it's overflowed to everything, golf instruction, and
now you're a father,
my marriage,
right?
And I'm not perfect.
Nobody is, but only one walked the earth that was.
But my uncle's another one, got me hooked on golf. Even my first instructor, Eric Manley, out there at Dominguez Hills, which no longer exists, but just had a just looking back, a lot of good people that kind of help you along the way that you have no idea what kind of influence they have, but looking back, they've made a big difference. But.
So how do you feel about, this is sort of a broad question, but how do you feel about the state of our teaching business now? I mean, I know you've been on both sides of it with social media. Now you say you're off social media.
I'm off.
So talk a little bit about, because I mean, you're the future, man. I mean, like this is, how can we, as the older generation, I'm not too old yet, but I'm getting there. How can we make it better for the young coaches? I mean, what do you think? Are we moving in the right direction, or
I
some of the things we need to work on, right?
Well,
what's your perspective?
Again, like I think there's, technical versus non-technical, stuff like that. Like, I asked me this question a couple years ago. I would have told you it's black and white, right? But
it's all about the yellow book. It's all about what.
Sure.
Right. I mean, it's like whatever you know is what you know.
Sure. I just think that, if you want to teach, off the numbers, which I love numbers and can geek out with them, and it's great. But, ultimately, you're trying to make the student better. So if that's a tool that can help with the learning process and they respond well to that type of teaching, then that's fantastic. But if you have somebody that is confused by it, by the D angle.
You remember that combo, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
That's an inside joke, ladies and gentlemen.
Just being able to.
From a friend of ours that if he's listening to this podcast, probably will remember that, but we won't go into it. That D angle thing, man, you just don't understand it.
But, it's just being able to relate to the student. I mean, that's what we're here for. We're here to help grow the game. We're here to help make the game more enjoyable. And if it's technical based teaching or field based teaching, however you want to describe it, that's going to be I think that's the best way. But I'm a huge advocate of technology. I think that it definitely helps me as an instructor to have a better idea of diagnosing what the issue is. There are things that I can't see with my naked eye, whether it's TrackMan, 4D, or whatever.
Right.
But again, just knowing what is it that the student needs and just trying to figure out what's the right tool to bring it out. But all in all, I think for golf instruction, I think there's never been this much information out, right?
Right. I mean, the internet helps.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's easily accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think you're right. I mean, I think I strive to keep evolving. As you watch me teach today, it's probably the first time you've seen me teach in a couple of years, yeah. And you're like, wow, there's some different stuff,
sure,
right?
Sure.
I'm trying to learn, and I'm trying to get better every day, like everybody. But I still really preach to try to be a well-rounded coach, right? So it's not just about the technology. It's not just about the information. Mm-hmm. It's about the individual, mm-hmm. right? So like you said earlier, the number one class, and I love that you said the first class is what? Building relationships.
Yeah.
We teach people to golf.
Yeah.
We don't teach golf. We teach people.
Yeah.
And so as soon as you can get a grasp on how to relate to people, then our job becomes much easier.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my 2 cents.
And that would not have been my answer a
right.
couple years ago.
But see, you're in a different place now
Absolutely.
than you were 3, 4, 5 years ago.
For sure.
And I think that's the hard thing to get as humans is I'm going to be in a different place in 5 years too. And I'm going to have a different answer. I might have something else to add, but I'm the same way. When I was 28, I didn't have a clue. I was in a much different place. So it's just, you've got to sort of stay in the now and go, all right, let's learn as much as we can and be open-minded. And, I think nowadays it's very easy to kind of get closed up in a box and say, this is the way.
Sure.
And I run away as soon as somebody says there's only one way, especially in golf instruction, because there's so many moving parts.
Yeah. It's just trying to figure out how many different paths you can take.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody's different, try something different, figure out what works for that individual. But if you can build that trust with that individual, then you have a chance.
Yeah. But I think the whole social media aspect is really helpful. There's a good side and a bad side to it.
Yeah, for sure.
But like just the access that even as a young coach, just being able to see the information put out by you and other instructors is really helpful. Again, that's that learning from other people, and now I don't have to drive or fly to go see or pay as much money to learn from them. And then also now you have a little bit more direct access to these people and have conversations and relationships. And I'll admit I could probably do a better job now, but priorities change with a 9-month-old. But again,
and you'll get that opportunity again, right? I mean, you gotta have your priorities, and right now, family always comes first,
right?
God and family, and then the rest of it will fall into place. You're doing the right things.
That's right. But
I'll never doubt that.
But also, I don't post, or even when I didn't really post as much because there is a lot of good information out there. And at some point in time, it just gets lost, I feel like.
Sure.
And but
you feel like yours isn't as interesting as somebody else's.
There's always somebody bigger and better out there. But a lot of good information out there for sure. For sure.
All right, let's go for a couple of random questions here, little some teasers maybe you haven't heard. Let's see. What purchase of $150 or less has positively impacted your life in the last year?
Oh, man. Well, we were just talking about this, my laptop.
There you go. That's perfect.
Oh, man. So totally changed my mindset on laptops. I used to buy the most expensive one. I'm like, this is going to be what I'm going to take care of. And like, I'm going to baby it. And it never worked out. Like, the huge, massive screen, like it just break away like after like a month of use. And I got a laptop, Asus, like it's $100.
Acer?
Yeah, Acer, yeah, something like that. And and $100, fantastic. like I don't even have to worry about it. If it breaks, it's fine. Just get a new one.
If you run over with the cart,
Or drop it like the one I dropped at Carmel.
Yeah, I was going to say,
you.
you dropped my laptop out of the cart, which, wasn't a great day.
No.
But,
that was after a workshop, wasn't it?
yeah, it was. It was after the Guru workshop.
It was such a good day until then.
That's awesome.
Now you can look at those scrape marks and just remember me.
So what is an unusual habit or absurd thing that you love?
Oh, man.
I may have to call Kate on this one.
Oh, no joke. That's
Your
no
wife.
joke. Oh, man. Absurd habit.
Come on, you're being transparent. You're doing great.
Oh, geez. No, let's just try and think of one.
Yeah, okay. Well, give us.
Oh, man. What's absurd?
Come on, something in your daily ritual, maybe something that's a little weird.
I watch YouTube way too much.
Okay.
Oh, man, it's bad.
The YouTube obsession.
Oh, it's
Netflix,
bad.
YouTube.
Oh, yeah. But YouTube specifically. And I'll get I'm a learner. So it could be absolutely anything random. Like rock climbing. That's my latest thing I've been watching on YouTube.
Like your guy that just free climbed the
free solo.
Free solo.
Yeah, that just blows my mind. Dude climbed 3,200 feet at El Capitan. No ropes, no nothing.
Oh my gosh.
That is nuts. So what am I doing? I'm learning all about rock climbing. So it drives my wife Kate just nuts because it's always something new every week. It doesn't matter. It's something. Whether it's bad. It's really bad.
All right. So what new belief, behavior, or habit has most improved your life?
Oh, it's my faith in God. No doubt about it. Prayer. Man, no doubt about it. I mean, when my self-worth isn't related to my actions or what I can do, that just set me free. And it's not to say that I don't struggle with it. It's a constant struggle, but
We all do, man.
yeah, but that changed everything in the fact that Jesus paid it all for me. Yeah.
When you feel overwhelmed or unfocused or have lost your focus temporarily, what do you do?
Probably don't do a good enough job of this, but again, just kind of stepping away from the situation, just trying to find quiet time. Whether it's just, reading, but I'm just terrible at doing that. But normally, I'm always one that's just go, 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 go.
Right.
But,
it's tough to get that balance, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah. And actually, balance of just, yeah, normally if I'm burned out like that, or where I just can't quite focus, it means that something is out of balance in my life, just in general, whether I'm just going too fast, or I'm not spending enough time with family, or something's out of whack. So just kind of reassessing, taking quiet time and kind of figuring out what it is. I find that showering really helps with that. Just quiet. Just can't do anything. No phone, no nothing. Just
Did you say showering?
Showering, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's a first.
Oh, yeah.
I like it. I've started taking baths lately.
Really?
It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
Because it just sort of relaxes. I mean, I read something or heard on a podcast that it can be good for you.
Play some Kenny G
I
in the background.
No, I don't do that. But it's just, I don't know, something different. I have a difficult time stopping and quieting my mind for sure.
I do it occasionally. There's nothing wrong with that. The question is, do you do the bath bombs?
I do.
I really appreciate you.
I can't believe I just
there you go,
admitted
Joe.
that
There you go.
on my podcast. But my wife is a big bath bomb person, and I did the bath bomb. I got to admit it.
Hey, I fully support.
With a glass of wine.
Why not?
A little music.
It's the little things.
It's helping me actually get some sleep, which is a rarity.
The things your listeners are finding out about you. This is fantastic.
This is not good. You're never coming on the show again.
That's okay.
Oh my gosh.
I'm never being allowed back in the dojo, am I?
Oh, you're always welcome. You're my boy. All right. So what would you do? What would you be doing if you weren't teaching golf?
What would I be doing if I wasn't teaching golf? Well, if I didn't get into golf in general, like if I just picked a different degree, actually I'm pretty artistic, so I think I would do something like graphic design, something like that. I think just creating something out of nothing is pretty cool. Like logo design. Like I think I showed you. I showed you a few actually.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I had some ideas. Nothing ever panned out, but I like kind of creating logos and stuff like that. I think that'd be a cool job. But actually, you know, growing up, I always knew I was going to be a teacher. Just didn't know what I was going to teach. Like originally, I thought I wanted to be a 5th grade teacher, but that could be a possibility too. I just like the ability just to transfer knowledge to somebody and actually help them improve and the relationships that come with that.
I like it. What sound or noise do you love?
A hold putt.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Fingernails on a chalkboard.
That's good. What's your favorite word?
Favorite word? Probably awesome.
What's your least favorite word?
Can't. Something that has no attached to it.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I just hope I'm accepted.
No, you gotta do better than that.
Oh, man.
You gotta coming from God's mouth.
Oh man, like dream scenario, like you goofed up a bunch, but you did good. You did your best.
All right, I'll take that. Okay, final question. You're off the hot seat.
Oh, this has been fun.
If you could have a gigantic billboard anywhere with anything on it, what would it say and why? You can get a message to billions of people. My new twist to that question is you could be the president and text message everybody in the world. That's the modern day version of that question.
Yeah. You know,
Big power, a lot of power there.
You know, it'd be something along like just grace, you know, just being patient with each other, something along those lines, you know, being able to just put yourself in somebody else's shoes and just know the fact that, you know, if something bad happens, just being able to understand like, hey, I make mistakes too, and just kind of extending that open communication. Because I feel like just so often, just whether it's politics or whatever, everything just gets so closed off and you just get these two extremes. So just kind of keeping that open line of communication there, just being, yeah.
I like it.
That's what I got.
So you got no social media.
Sorry.
So we got nothing for the fans to reach out to you.
I can give you my cell phone number if that helps.
It's up to you, man. Thanks for coming on. Thanks. Thanks. Go ahead. What?
Actually, no, I'll give you my email address. Yeah.
All right.
Alex, ALEX at Governor's Club, GOVERNORS, club, CLUB.cc. So feel free to contact me.
This guy is going to be a superstar. He already is, but if you haven't heard from him, you're going to hear from him now. I love you, brother.
Love you too, man.
You're the best.
Thank you for everything you've done for me.
Thanks for coming on.
Awesome.
What's up, everybody? Guru back here again with a couple of things before you jump off. First, big thank you to Alex Vanderlinden for coming on the show and just for coming to hang out, because I just so enjoyed spending time with young coaches that I've mentored and that are doing so well, like Alex. You can follow and reach me on the Twitter or the Instagram at Golf Guru TV. Would love to converse with you. Check out all my stuff I'm putting on Instagram. And also shoot me a DM if you have any questions or if there's any suggestions about anything about the show. Love to get the feedback, and I appreciate everybody that's reached out so far in the last month. January was just a huge month for the show, and I couldn't be more thankful for everybody listening and sharing. And make sure you download, make sure you subscribe, because that's how we get the numbers, so we can keep creating this awesome content for you guys out there. Also, check out my website at golfgurutv.net, where you can find videos, articles, and more information on my teaching and coaching. And again, if you have a question or a comment, you can email the show at golfgurushow@gmail.com or hit me up on the DM. This show and all episodes of the Golf Guru Show are produced by myself, Jason Sutton. Music is by Zach Mullet, aka Cutta Beats. Leave me an iTunes review or a rating. That would be awesome. Go to the bottom of the scroll and leave me a review and let me know how we're doing. That is very, very important for the success of this show as well. And as I leave you with every single show, I encourage you to study, practice, and then teach it. And then what do you got to do? Pass it on. Share the information, people, and give credit to the original source. You guys are the best. I will see you next time. Thanks for listening.